So currently I wear enough white face paint to look like a haunted Victorian doll, and my eyebrows are like basically gone. Why? Because today we are talking about Chappell Roan, the pop star who became a global phenomenon and who won a Grammy and then looked at her fan base and said, "Do not perceive me." She is camp, she is unapologetically queer, and she treats her own fame like an uninvited guest who will leave her house party. Today I'm showing you how she went from a small town in Missouri trailer park to the biggest, most polarizing name in pop music while I attempt to do her makeup style. So hit subscribe, grab a glitter, and let's get into the chaos. Okay, so to understand how we got from this to that, we have to go back to the beginning before she was Chappell Roan. She was just Kaylee Rose Sturts from Willard, I think I'm saying that right, Willard, Missouri. And let me just tell you, her childhood was about as far away as a pink pony club as you can possibly get. I'm using this white base from the Athena palette. So she's the oldest of 4, and she grew up in a deeply conservative trailer park community. We are talking about like church 3 times a week. So her summers were also spent in like Bible camps, and she openly admitted that she used music as an escape mechanism because she felt like she couldn't be herself, and she would upload herself singing on YouTube. Yes, so she also auditioned for America's Got Talent, but she didn't get any success. She also performed around her neighborhood and her hometown, and she ended up getting discovered. Well, she got signed to Atlantic Records in 2015, and she was just like 17 years old. And even though she had buzz on her early music, like she had buzz, she ended up getting dropped by Atlantic because they said she was not like profitable enough, whatever that means. So she went back to doing music like independently, and she also had to get like a part-time job. She worked at a donut shop. A drive-through donut shop. So yeah, she was just a rising star. She was a global phenomenon, and with that came the dark side of like the internet. And fans were following her into public bathrooms. They were stalking her family, like a bunch of crazy stuff. And treating she like she was not like a human being. Like they was treating she like if she was like a video game character or something. Like they was acting like if she was not like a regular person. And I can understand where she's coming from, because like you just want to make your art and then like live your life. But while most pop stars is like smile through the madness, and like the publicists just tell them, you gotta be nice, whatever. Not her. Like she was just like, she chose absolute violence. You understand what I'm saying? So she dropped like a series on TikTok, and she was just like ranting and letting people know like she just shook everybody to the core, and the entire pop stands, everybody. She just like explicitly said, like, if you saw a random woman in the street, like this is what she said.
If you saw a random woman on the street, would you yell at her from the car window? Would you harass her in public? Would you go up to a random lady and say, "Can I get a photo with you?" Would you be offended if she says no to your time because she has her own time? Would you stalk her family? Would you follow her around?
And she basically tell the fan base, I'm a random bitch. You're a random bitch. Do not touch me. And I completely agree, because why are you touching people you don't know? That's crazy. But like the internet went crazy, and half of the world was saying, yes, finally a celebrity calling out toxic parasocial behavior and relationships and stuff like that. And then like the other half, well, mostly like toxic people on Twitter and stuff. Twitter people, they were like, excuse me, we bought your vinyl, we own your soul. But like, she didn't just talk about it on TikTok. She actually also like practiced it in real life. She practiced what she preached. Because on the VMA red carpet, when a photographer, well, a photographer was actually screaming at her, and she turned around. I was like, she was like snapping back to them, and she was like instantly like, "You shut the f up," you know. So she drew a hard line in the sand, and it's like she's saying like when she's performing, she's on the clock, and like when she's like getting like iced coffee and doing her day-to-day stuff, she's a private citizen. And it was like a boundary that was heard all around the world, and it set the stage for like the peak of the internet, like hysteria. Okay, so on some like blush on my cheeks. But yeah, so we're moving on to the next part, which is like the Brazilian breakfast saga. Which brings us to like the boss battle of Chappell Roan. Well, one of the biggest like controversies, the Great Brazilian Breakfast Saga. So imagine it's like early like March 2026, and Chappell is like in Sao Paulo, Brazil, minding her own business. She was minding her business at the breakfast buffet, and then suddenly a famous footballer, Jorginho, I think that is how you pronounce his name. He dropped a big bomb on like IG claiming that his 11-year-old daughter, who is like the actor Jude Law biological child, they saw Chappell, like she saw the Chappell at breakfast, and the kid didn't even ask for like a picture or anything. She just like smiled. So according to Jorginho, a huge security guard aggressively approached them and made the little girl like cry, and then threatened to report them in the hotel. And it was a lot. Threatened to report them, and then the media just went into immediate like toxic overdrive. Like on TikTok, T pages was just like pumping out one set of like videos and deep dives about like Chappell Roan and calling her like a diva and like a mean girl. And that was claiming that she hate children, and the outrage was just like crazy. And it was so bad that even the mayor of Brazil like allegedly like got involved and was saying like the ban her, and it was just like a big like ultimate like cancellation. Except the news was entirely fake. And days later, like the actual security guard in question, like what's his name? The actual security guard, Pascal Duvier, I think that's his name, had to put out a public statement, and he wasn't even he was just clarifying that he wasn't even working with Chappell or working for her. He was like hired by a completely like different hotel guest, and he just took it upon himself to act out. Like I'm so confused. Yeah, so he took it upon himself to like act out, and Chappell didn't even see like the child, like, and actually reached out and privately tried to fix everything, and let them know it was a misunderstanding. But like the internet had already spent like 3 days like canceling the girl and dragging her and stuff like that. And it just goes to show that the internet was just like waiting for a reason to waiting for it to fail, or waiting for like something like this to happen to just jump on she back, and she just refused to play like that celebrity game with them. So just doing like some shimmery like eyeshadow. Also going to be adding some rhinestones right to the front of the eye right here. Okay, So I went and do like almost everything else off camera. So like I finished the eyes. So now moving on to the lips. And now for the final touch, I'm gonna be real overlining these lips. But yeah. So what is the ultimate verdict on Chappell? End of the day, the internet, smear campaigns, and like the diva allegations will always fall apart because for one simple reason, and it's because the music is just too good. Like a standalone track, "Good Luck Babe," literally went like number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. She was just in the Grammys for the best new artist, and you can't cancel someone. So you can't cancel someone when millions of people are actively like doing the choreography for Too Hot to Go on in the open fields. She is like navigating like an insane level of overnight fame, and she's doing it on her own terms, and she treats her fans like like customers at a store, like that's how she treats them. And it's like she gives you a good product and you just don't get to follow she home, and that's it. Like after closing, like that's it. So yeah, so she doing things on her own terms, and I don't think she's wrong for that. But I want to know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. You think she should chill, or do you think like she should like take away, like you think that she's right for having these aggressive boundaries? So smash the subscribe button and please press the like button so that the algorithm gods will smile on me. Thank you all for watching and see ya.